Welcome back to Journals on the March. Journals on the March is a storytelling podcast focused on telling the athletic history of Washington University through sit-down interviews with alumni, coaches, and athletes, detailing the athletic experience at our school and explaining how our unique history, traditions, and values make the athletic experience special. I'm your host, Thomas Wakefield, a first-year football player here at the university, recording from the Journals Redoubts podcasting studio here at Fancy Hill. Join me today as we sit down with Tucker Washburn. Tucker is a sophomore, plays defensive back for W&L on the football team. He's been a W&L Scholar Athlete and Academic All-ODAC. Tucker, I don't know if you've tuned into the show before, but we'll start you with the same question we do everybody. It's a unique place W&L is, but we all have different journeys. So I was wondering, what did your journey here look like? I know you're from in-state, so it might have been a little closer than some other people, but where else did you look? How was the recruiting process? How did you get in contact with W&L, and what made you ultimately decide to come here?
Yeah, Thomas, thanks for having me today.
Of course.
So W&L, being in-state from Virginia, it was always on my radar. I actually have a really deep family history at the school. I'm a fourth-generation legacy. So my dad, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather all went here. My great-grandfather, in fact, was the school's first women's tennis coach, and the tennis courts under the Wilson Bridge are actually named for him.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of family history here. So really, I grew up always coming on visits to Lexington, really grew up loving the place. But as I was going through all the application processes, it was tied for first with what I wanted to do. It was either going to be that or hopefully something like UVA. And really, I didn't know if I wanted to play football or not, but I had a really successful senior season, and gradually the itch to keep playing really started. And so I reached out to, he's not with us anymore. He's coaching in a high school team now, or
Gotcha.
Coach Jones, Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
So Bobby Jones, actually, I reached out to him following my senior season, and I talked about how I was super interested in W&L, loved it a ton, and wanted to see if there was any way I could possibly get recruited or walk onto the football team following my application. And I was in contact with him a lot, decided to go early decision, got it January, and really just took off from there.
Gotcha. And you would say that the football ability to continue to play that is what ultimately sold you on W&L over UVA, or was there other factors outside of sports?
So I would say the football was a major factor, but ultimately I wanted a school that would give me the highest value education I could possibly get. And ultimately I started, because I originally was I want to be a big school guy, go to UVA, something like that. And gradually, as I kept looking back at it, I'm I have a ton of history here. I've always loved W&L. Every time I've visited since really looking at it as a potential school, I just kept loving it even more and more. So I love the small class sizes. I think there's a lot of value in that, because you're not sitting in a giant lecture hall. You can actually talk and share your ideas and really feel like you're making a connection with your professors and your classmates. So I think the value in that is incredible. And W&L is not a normal small school. We have some first-class facilities. We have first-class professors. I think the alumni base is fantastic. They really care for each other. And it was just a no-brainer for me, seeing all the opportunities, and then being able to play football was an absolute bonus.
Of course, yeah. I think what you said, too, about the ability to form meaningful relationships with professors is something that I think has surprised me about W&L, because these people are experts in their field. A lot of them are published researching still while they teach, and no TAs. Pretty much every professor is going to have open office hours. You can just come and talk to them. I think that's really a hallmark of the W&L experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And your professors, they want to get to know you too. It's very obvious. They're excited every time I go see them for office hours, just because they really get to experience the student teacher connection, and really expand on why they're teaching what they why they're doing what they do. And it's just a really great connection to have.
Yeah. I also didn't know fourth generation W&L student, but I was wondering a lot of things people talk about here is the alumni network, and also the familial nature of the school. So I was wondering, coming from an actual W&L family of alums, I was wondering if you could speak to that experience growing up in the W&L alumni circle.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm still figuring it out myself, as I am going through my own experience and starting to network and figure out internships and potential career paths. But as long as I've known about W&L, it's always been how much the alumni give back, how much they love this school, how much they love the tradition. at the school. And you can really feel that still when you come. People want to give back. People want to improve the facilities, improve the staff, like really help make this a special experience. And you know what's so awesome is like last year my dad had like his 30th reunion, and he came back with all of his friends, and I got to talk to all of them about their experiences and just how much it shaped who they were today. And it's really a tight-knit community, and there's a lot of opportunity in getting to know not only the people that you're currently at school with, but also those that came here before you and what insights they have about going forward.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's something that is a hallmark of the W&L experience as well. Will Knight, in my first episode, he mentioned that now that he's like about to graduate, he's like kind of thinking what his relationship with the school is going to look like. He mentioned the drive to give back, and I think that's something that's really common on the W&L alums, because like I think we all, even the students, realize how special our school is. It's very unique, like you said. There's a lot of things that it's different than a small school, but it's definitely not a big school. And I think that we all realize that we have a responsibility to steward it and shape it and push it forward in the next generation and make sure that it can be as special to students in the class of 2055 as it is to the class of students in 2026. Like, I do think that is like a common goal that like we all do share, especially the alums.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I was wondering too, moving into athletics, all that, was this like your only opportunity to play football at a college level, or did you have others? You said you asked Coach Jones about the possibility of walking on or getting on the team. So was this like something that this was like your only real chance to play college football, or did you have others that you just skated by?
Yeah, so I'll talk about like my recruiting process like as a whole. So like a lot of guys, I know they start compiling their film and sending it out junior year. Like I'm guessing you probably did that. I did not get started until after my senior season.
Okay, wow.
So my first contact with any coach, it was Coach Jones, was the second to last game of my high school career.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So obviously late start. I didn't have a whole lot of film. Like I had enough film that I could compile and feel confident about, like showing what I could provide to a team. But I needed to really accelerate that process, get it compiled, get it sent out. And so Coach Jones was the first one I talked to. And then my high school coaches really helped in the process, said they would reach out to any ODAC school that I wanted to go to. And I did tell them off the bat, W&L is, if I get that offer, I'm going. I will be there. But another one that was pursuing me a lot was actually Hampden-Sydney.
Really?
Yeah. And so I actually did go down on a visit to Sydney. In a way, I leveraged that. I'm like, okay, I'm talking to Sydney.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed the experience down there, but I still would love to come to W&L if y'all have a spot for me. And Coach Jones ultimately said, yeah, we have a spot for you. We'd love to have you.
Awesome.
And yeah, so my process wasn't as traditional or organized as most other recruits. It was a lot more accelerated, but I'm incredibly grateful to the Generals football family for really being accommodating and understanding that not only was I interested in playing football, but I was interested in being part of this school's community and just how much of a blessing it is to be here doing what I love.
Yeah, I think we're all grateful for that every day. But kind of building on that, I was wondering if there were any nerves going into like summer, fall camp, freshman year. Because I don't know, I don't want to say that like you didn't have the same level of exposure as some other players, because who knows, maybe you did if you had put more like effort into it earlier. But was there any sense of maybe I don't belong? Was there like a nerve around that or no?
So I will say my freshman year was an insane learning curve.
Same here.
Yeah, so coming from high school, I had around 2 years straight where I played every snap, just
Both
every
ways.
down, both ways, didn't come off the field. And so I had grown really comfortable in like arrogantly saying I was the guy.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a culture shock, like a reset going into fall camp, because as a lot of people who play college football know, once you get there, the playbooks expand by an incredible amount. There's all new terms that you have to learn really quickly.
Pre-snap. There's a lot more pre-snap.
Yeah. We have a ton of checks that we have to go through in our DB room to make sure that everybody in the back seven is on the same page.
Yep.
And that took a really long time for me to really like grasp and understand. And so I was often very frustrated last year because one, I felt like I was letting people down by not always having the answer, not always knowing fully confidently what I was doing. And so I really attacked the off season last year, got into the playbook, hit the weight room, tried to do everything I could to get on the field because total of freshman year, I played 3 snaps. And like, again, it was a huge culture shock. But what I began to appreciate towards the end of my freshman year and remember, because again, in high school, there was a time when I was not the guy, like I was still on the sideline. And so I really got to remembering, hey, this is a team sport. Like, this is the greatest game in the world. You have to play your role for your guys because those are your brothers out there. And no matter what you're doing, if you're holding the sign on the sideline, helping to call the plays, give the signals, like that's an important job.
Yeah.
You got to embrace your role and do it for your brothers because this is the tightest group of guys you'll ever be with. And like I really fed into that, really took that to heart. And so I did everything I could in the off season to figure out how I could better myself for whatever role I would see coming forward. So this past year, I'm really grateful for being given greater opportunities, playing on special teams all year. And I'm super excited to keep grinding, to keep working on what I can do to be better and take on whatever role they have planned for me next year. But I'd say that ultimately the biggest thing coming from high school to college was just remembering why I love the game, why I play the game. And ultimately that's the people that I was playing for, the people I was creating new relationships with, and just getting to go out there, do something that you love. It's really like no other.
Of course. And like, I think with our team in specific, like we really do an amazing brotherhood. Like at the beginning of the year, when you're in freshman fall camp and you hear everybody get up and do their Ys, you notice that every single person who does a Y, who's like a sophomore, junior, senior, is I play because I love you guys. I play because of the brotherhood we have. And you can understand it as a freshman because like you've already been there a week. You're already starting to fit into the dynamic of the team, but you don't fully get it. But once you've gone through a whole fall, yeah, you realize it's like that. I'm telling you right now, that'll be part of my Y next year.
Yeah.
It's something really special, especially with like college football, because like high school football, it's what, like maybe you're practicing and lifting each day. Maybe you do a 20-minute film session.
Yeah. It's really not as involved. Like college football is a full day, 12-week commitment. And like you grow really close with your teammates. And I really like how you said the whys, because that's a huge part of what we try to emphasize in fall camp. And like the whole time you're here, I learned that my freshman year. And I really think Coach Lerose and the rest of the staff do a great job of creating that brotherhood, creating that confidence in each other, because without that, like it's hard to create belief that you, like, even if you know you're a talented squad, it's hard to create belief going into the season, knowing that you can accomplish something special. And I think our coaching staff really gets everyone to buy into that. And I think like it's just going to lead to greater things for us going forward.
I would 100% agree. The brotherhood and the standard are the two things that you constantly see harped on. And I think that our coaching staff does a great job of harping on those two things, because whether it's Lerose talking about, I don't know what it is on defense, on offense, like, you know, this is the standard, this is what we run, we're going to do it well, we're going to do it for each other. And that's just, you hear it enough times or experience it enough times, and like you just accept it as gospel truth, because in a way it is.
Yeah.
I was wondering too, because like for me, freshman year, I had a lot more terminology, a lot more pre-snap, seeing a lot of defensive fronts I didn't see in high school from center. I know that like Kalen, Tucker, Greg, like even Wes and Jack a little bit, like all helped me out a lot with learning and adapting to that. I was wondering if there's anyone like that early on for you who helped you acclimate.
Yeah, absolutely. In the DB room, yeah, we have the corners, safeties, but like all of our meetings are together. So first off, you're learning through everything as a group, because much like the offensive line, I'm sure every part of the coverage that we call is connected. If you have one piece missing, that's the difference between a 60-yard touchdown and an interception. Really just having those meetings together and being on the same page. In terms of people that have really just mentored me and helped me, my freshman year, I really give a lot of credit to Jackson Stokes. He was a senior safety last year, but unfortunately, he had an injury in fall camp, and so he wasn't able to play the entire year. But he would often see me during those times when I was frustrated or confused, and he would just talk me through like any question I had. Like he would make sure I understood it. He would make sure to help me clarify that I knew what I was doing when I went out there.
Yeah.
And another guy that I really appreciate has been Jack Johnson. He played our strong safety position, our general position, and just like he set the model for what you should be doing out on the field. He was always watching film. He was always going with 100% effort, always asking questions, helping those around him to understand what was going on. Like he was really like the quintessential like football guy that we had out there. And like he had, as a result, he had an incredibly successful career. And like I owe a lot of like seeing how like the right way to do it when you're out there going through this whole like process of practice, film study, preparation. I owe a lot to how I try to prepare to like what he did. And the same goes for Alan Hagler. He was another guy that just took everything so seriously. He really made sure that he was prepared for every meeting, every practice, every game. And I think just the value of having guys that will not only look after you, answer your questions, and really help bring you up to speed, as well as those that are going to show you the right way to go about the process, the right way to attack the process. Because this game, it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
But it's so rewarding when you buy into it and take it seriously. So those guys definitely helped to shape how I'm trying to carry myself on the team.
Yeah, 100%. We all have people like that we look up to. And I think what you said too about the game taking so much more, like it's so much more than you can even see. Because people will know about obviously games, practices, everybody pretty much knows about that. And they're like, oh yeah, you guys probably lift too, like obviously. But they don't see, like you said, the meetings, like before practice film every day. Like they don't see the recovery stuff to keep us, make sure we're tip-top shape. So like when you said college football is a full-time job for 12 weeks, that's really true. And like even in the off season, there's so much you got to dedicate to it.
Yeah, even now we have a lift or a run every single day.
Yeah.
We're about to get into spring ball, and it's going to go right back into, we have those pre-practice meetings. We have those lifts still. We're going to be practicing late at night. It's a commitment, but I really think if you buy into it, it's a great thing. I want to also kind of back to like who you look up to a lot. Another guy I wanted to talk about was actually Coach Lerose.
Yeah.
Because he actually moved into the DB room to be our coach this year. He was so essential in helping to build my confidence as a player again this year, because like he looked at everybody in the room and saw like all of our potential, and he took that as a challenge into getting like the best out of everyone he had in the room. So he was never afraid to coach anybody. Like he took the time to get to know all of the players in the room, know their strengths, know their weaknesses, and to build a way for them to improve. I think the thing that stuck out to me was after fall camp, he had an individual meeting with each of us, telling us like what we did really well in camp, what our potential role was going to be, but also how he wanted to see us grow over the season. And I think that's just such a like strong form of leadership. Like you're going to take the time to coach the guys, and like even the guys that like may not play this year, but they're guys that could play for you next year or the year after. So really just taking the time for each one of his players and like just telling them that he believes in them. He believes in you. He's going to help you get to the best you can be. And that's even outside of the field, like in the classroom, looking for jobs. Like he is such a great leader, such a great person in terms of helping you to be the best you can be. And so I just really wanted to shout that out.
Yeah.
He's been a great mentor.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Like even from my limited experience, like he's the guru. Like there's nothing that happens in this team that he doesn't understand why it's being done, and he could have probably coached himself. Like because when later in the season he came back to offense, no details too small. Like he cleaned up a lot of stuff that we were being sloppy about. We got a little lazy with. he's such a detail-oriented coach that, like, it's easy to see why people have success under him, because everything is going to get coached and you're going to get taught how to do everything right. And sometimes, like we all know as football players, those little things can change a lot.
It's a game of inches.
Yeah, for sure.
Game of inches.
And like what you said in regards to like jobs and all that, I'm a freshman. I haven't even finished my first semester yet. And in my winter meeting with Coach Lerose, he's asking about major. Have you thought about internships? Have you thought about this, that? And he will run you through every scenario if you like need him to. He will sit down and take that time with you. He'll be like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What's your plan for that? Like, and I think that to see someone like that who, W&L alum and is committed so much to this place, like just to lead the next generation of football players and men here is really empowering. And I think it's awesome. Like the fact that we have guys like him and Raposa on the staff who graduated from here, and then Carlton has been here for like 30 years. That's all really special to me.
Yeah. It's a really special place and a lot of special people to make this happen. So
for sure. I was wondering too, now that we started talking about the academic side of things, how has your academic journey gone since you got here? Like I know you're accounting, business type of guy.
Yeah, business administration major.
Yeah.
Looking at a sports management minor coming next year. Really excited about that.
I was wondering if that was something that like you had interest in when you came here, or if that developed over time to end up where you are now.
Yeah, I was like a lot of people, came into college not really knowing what I wanted to do, but I knew that going in, I've always been a better communicator. I've always liked my history classes a lot. So like I was at first leaning towards something more history or business related. And I just kind of learned that as I was going through the semesters, the course selections, that like I really wanted to develop my skills as a communicator, really best understand what I would potentially see once I got into the workforce. And so I did decide to declare business. And really, I would just say I've enjoyed taking the classes that really center around working more with people and like creating those relationships, understanding how to lead. Like that's something that's huge for me. I'll admit, like I'm not someone who's going to want to sit at a desk behind a spreadsheet all day. I need to be working with people. And so I feel this kind of path has led me to being able to do that and refine my skills in presenting, managing a group, like leading, just really good life skills that I think will serve me later. And then outside of the major and going for like stuff you think will provide good value for in the future, the biggest thing I can recommend in going to college and taking your classes, especially at a place like W&L, is take stuff that interests you. If it doesn't apply to your major or you don't think it's going to apply to a job you have in the future, like still take the class if it interests you, because there's so much value in having a liberal arts education and really like testing out a bunch of different fields, because you become a more well-rounded like person in my eyes. I know that's like the cliche answer.
Yeah.
But like I think there is just a lot of value because you learn how to think.
And across a variety of disciplines.
It's not even that like you're going to hang on to that random history like material that you covered in your freshman year or like any other class. You may not have the specifics memorized for life, but just the ability to think, to problem solve, that's what you get out of taking multiple different classes in multiple different disciplines. And I think that's like the real value. Nobody should be afraid to take classes that aren't necessarily geared towards a specific major study or industry. Just take what you want. Obviously complete your major, but make sure you have some stuff that you actually find interesting.
I would totally agree. And I think we talk about a lot on this show that the FDRs the university has a really good job of pushing students to explore that breadth. You've got to take a foreign language. You've got to take a lab. You've got to take some experiential learning requirement. Like all of these things that, they're not the craziest requirements in the world. Like you don't need to learn how to underwater basket weave, but you do have to experience more than just your one major, which is definitely different from schools too, where you apply with a major area of study in mind. Yeah. Final question here, Tucker. I was wondering if you could take a second to reminisce what some of your best memories, either football or non-football, just your best W&L memories so far have been as we wrap up your sophomore year here.
So I'll start off with the football memories. It's been like the last it's kind of a combination of the last 2 years, but ending the season with the bowl wins have been my favorite, like, football memories thus far. And not just because we won the game, got a trophy, like all of that, but really to see like, what you work for all year is to end with a win, to go out there with your boys for the last time and, like, just dominate again. And I think, like, it's just an incredible feeling, and what a great send-off for the seniors.
Totally.
Those guys, like, you look up to those guys the whole year. They're like your mentors, and just being able to send them off with a win is, like, incredible. And, like, I just love that it's just the one last group win. Like, you get to go do something awesome with that group. It's the last time that group's ever gonna be together playing this game that we all love. So I think that's been one of my favorite memories. And then it's not really like specific memories, but just finding your people at W&L and just like hanging out on a casual, like Friday, Saturday, just really, like, with our fraternity, it's just a bunch of your best friends. You can literally do anything, like just sit around, go out, do anything, and just have a good time. And I think that really just speaks to the people at W&L and how great of a place it is, because, like, you will find your people here. And even if it's not some giant memory, like, you're going to create just a bunch of, like, smaller great ones. I think that's probably my favorite part, is the people.
For sure. The little things, stuff you take for granted while you're in them, but you know it's special. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on today, Tucker. And to the listeners, thank you all very much. We'll see you back next time on Jones on the March.